Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're going to talk about the shipping industry right now, and I think it's very important to tell what's going on in the shipping industry is how you can see the future of the economy, right? When shipping rates start to fall and the amount of ships going back and forth from one country to another start to slow down or become less frequent, you know that the economy is slowing, and you're going to be able to tell real-time activity in the shipping index, the Baltic Freight Index. You can see and actually tell where the economy is going to be going, and you're going to be able to tell ahead of time how companies are going to start to report their earnings, because if they're selling less goods, that means they're shipping less goods, and it's going to come out in their quarterly numbers. It's a really neat way to be able to tell a little bit of the future when you're buying and investing in the stock market. It says right here, I'm going to link this story below. Shipping, freight rates slowly getting back to normal. It says for more than 2 years, the only way for container shipping prices was up. That trend is now reversing as backlogs at ports dissolve and supply chain snarls ease. Little side note, the port of Long Beach issued a statement, about a week ago, stating that the month of October was the quietest month since 2019. So that is very telling of where we are as not only a nation, but as a world economy that is coming grinding to a halt, and that is going to flash. We're already in recession, but I am fearing depression signals. So if you're in the shipping industry, please put down below in the comment section what you're seeing. Are your freight rates dropping, and what are you doing about it? And do you have a side hustle on the side or an exit strategy if all of a sudden the bottom falls out and you don't have loads that you can take here or there? All right, I'd love to hear your comments. It says right here, as the immediate aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine on global trade gradually subside, signs are growing that the finely tuned system of ocean shipping is getting out of the crisis mode. The massive disruptions to global supply chains caused mainly by COVID lockdowns in China, and having found a vivid expression in ship backlogs at ports, are showing signs of easing. Seabound shipping is ready to assume its overwhelming importance of carrying 90% of all transportation across the world. It says right here, in Germany, the shipping chaos has been brought under control also because of a bargaining deal struck between dock workers and port authorities that ended a disruptive strike this fall. Now, a little quick thing, talking about strikes, we're still seeing tons of news all over that a rail strike is imminent. It's building. There's talks constantly. It's all over the news. It hasn't happened yet. I mean, these little battles get won, but the war is still on whether the rail lines are going to strike. So it's one thing to be able to get the goods that we need from a different country from ship, but it's a whole other thing to be able to put it on an intermodal carrier, on a train, piggyback, and get it to the places it needs to be. That is what is also going to throw a wrench in this entire thing. It says the backlogs of ships along European coasts have been overcome. Let's see right here. Sorry, there was a quote. I jumped past it. Martin Kroger, this is the quote from Martin Kroger, which is the chief executive of the German Ship Owners Association. He says the backlogs of ships along European coasts have been overcome, he told DW, adding that shipping capacity wasn't so tight anymore as it was at the end of last year. Another piece of good news, he said, was that ocean freight rates are falling significantly. Shipping conditions are similar to what they were before the pandemic. I want you to understand that's actually a bad thing. All right. It's good for rates to come down because it eases the prices that the consumer ultimately has to pay, but that won't happen for months and months down the road, okay? It takes a while to get through that. It's like a supply chain of charging you. It takes months down the road to get to you those lower prices that the consumer so desperately needs so that they can buy more goods. But the problem is I think it's going to be too little, too late. Another little note I want to state that the dry Baltic Index, when it fell during the Great Recession, there is a certain point where it cost the exact same to rent. The daily rental on a container ship was as low as renting the daily rate on a Ferrari. All right, very interesting, about $350 plus obviously expenses, but it got so cheap because there was nobody renting ships. That's how bad it got, okay? So that is a sign. What right now, these ships, the amount of ships moving and the rates dropping are actually a sign that our economy is crashing, all right? So I want you to be ready for that. Now, a little spot right here I want to hit on real quick. Supply chain health. Vincent Stammer from the Kiel Institute for World economy explains that a surge in demand and so-called front-loading, the process of allocating costs at the beginning of a project or contract, by importers had led to the previous supply bottlenecks. During the pandemic, consumers in Europe and North America massively bought consumer electronics devices, furniture, and sports apparel, causing importers to hastily fill their inventories to meet the demand. However, the boom is now subsiding and demand for goods is dropping, he added. So I want to add to that. As the boom is subsiding and demand's dropping, what's happening to those companies is because they built out, they hired more people, they got a bunch of equipment and supplies to build more goods because they had this influx of stuff. They didn't plan on a crash or a stop, a sudden stopping of orders coming in. So now you're going to see people getting laid off. We're already seeing it in the shipping industry, where truckers are being laid off from companies because they simply don't have the loads to move now. And we're going to see a lot of companies, industries, especially like when you start seeing these hotshot truckers that built an industry, built up during a boom time, and now they're going to be having a hard time getting jobs because they're going to be competing with the large trucks. So if you're a hotshot trucker, you're probably going to be in for some really hard times. And hopefully, and that's the problem, a lot of these hotshot truckers went and bought brand new overpriced rigs, trailers, all of that stuff, and they're stretched to the limit. We've even seen YouTubers that literally had their entire channels about hotshot trucking literally cancel their channels because everything's being taken from them right now. So guys, please put down in the comment section what you think what's going on in the industry. I want to know your thoughts because shipping is coming to a grinding halt. And if you're a trucker, I would highly suggest and encourage you to start looking at different avenues of revenue as well right now, not out of fear, but out of preparation. So you guys go out and crush it. And then because you're prepared, which means you won't be scared. All right, guys, that being said, this is the Economic Ninja, and I thank you for watching. I'm out.